Welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray on 790 The Bet. Brought to you proudly by the Tennessee Wildlife Resources Agency.
Hey, welcome back to Outdoors with Larry Ray, and looking forward to talking to this next young man because, golly, this has been a conversation. We're winding down finally. Some people, the duck season will end on Sunday. Some people will end on Monday. And if I'm not mistaken, we're a Monday person when it comes down to it because of the way the calendar works. But I always like to talk to Jamie Feddersen. He is the TWRA Migratory Game Bird Program Coordinator, one of those titles you can't get on a shirt. But glad to have Jamie with us. Good morning, Jamie.
Hey, good morning, Larry. Thanks for having me.
It seems.
Hey, I just wanted to correct you real quick. We're the ones that end on Sunday.
You're ending on Sunday. Okay, everybody hear that out there.
Yeah.
Okay, don't throw Larry Ray Larry Ray under the bus. Yes, you are on Sunday. Yeah. Arkansas must be on Monday then, I guess.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
okay, Luke Naylor gets me confused again. But all right, folks, don't head out there on Monday in Tennessee. Don't say Larry Ray told you to get out there because Jamie's already. He'll be sick and Andy Tweed after me here. So no, but all right, we are winding this baby down, Jamie. It's been quite a year. I mean, we can talk about we can talk about different things during this tenure since you've been on this job. It's not an easy job to handle. We can talk about real foot. We talk about everything else. But you guys talked a little bit at the commission meeting, so to kind of give us an up to date on what went on at the commission meeting, and folks are wondering. We're in a framework that we're stuck with here. So, talk what happened at Dyersburg commission meeting.
Yeah. Okay. So the commission meeting was maybe about 10 days ago. And it was in Dyersburg, and a couple of different things happened there. Dr. Brad Cohen from Tennessee Tech, he gave a really nice update on what's happening with our mallard telemetry project, and we got some really cool things that are going on there. The students looking at how the birds are moving around West Tennessee. But I talked with the commission, gave a preview of the what the hunting seasons might look like for next year, for the 2022-23 season.
Yes.
And we will be, what we're going to propose at this time is that we will end our season on the 31st.
Okay.
And bring it into alignment with probably what most of the other states are doing. So that'll be a little bit different than what most folks are used to. That'll put us with our second opener on a Monday, the 5th.
Okay.
That's a little different than opening up on a Saturday. So there's that. And so we've got some things we're going to be talking about, some things that the commissioners brought up, like, what to do with the real foot zone. There's some folks that kind of just want to do away with the real foot zone and collapse it into the regular statewide zone. So we're going to talk about that a little bit, and maybe the placement of the youth hunts and the military hunts. But for the most part, the frameworks haven't changed from last year.
No.
So, the season length and the bag limits that we have this year, they're going to be the same as next year. And really, it's just mostly just calendar changes that we're doing just to accommodate the calendar. Yeah.
And that real foot thing has been forever. That's tradition, and
yeah, right.
I don't even want to get into that today, okay? Because I can imagine what that would. Anytime you deal with real foot, and my good friends up there, you got enough on your hands with duck blinds and things along that, Jamie. You don't need to be doing with other things like that. But it has been, as we have talked about, the duck hunters are the most optimistic. I don't know how they were in Florida when you worked down there, but it's got to be different up here. We're all optimistic. You're from New Hampshire. I have no idea what kind of duck hunting it has on the Atlantic Flyway, but I do know this area, and it has been one of those years. It's how many times can we be optimistic? I mean,
it's interesting. This year was almost like three. We almost had like three different seasons in one season.
Yes, yeah.
We started out the season. It was real dry.
Yes.
It was warm up north. We didn't get a big push of birds right there at the beginning. Didn't take until and then maybe around Christmas or so we started getting we started getting a lot of snow and rain, and the rivers got out. So like at that time when it was starting to rain and snow, we were getting pushes of birds a little bit, and the hunting was good. So the first third of the season wasn't real great because it was real dry and we just didn't have a lot of birds. Then hunting got good for a little while, and then the rivers got out. All that snow melted, the rivers got out, spread the birds out, and so they were kind of just localized. They weren't they weren't using all the spots that they had been using. So we're kind of in that. It's just been a weird year where it's just been, like I said, it's been like 3 different seasons within this season.
Well, come February, it'll be great. Okay, so I mean,
yeah.
I mean,
isn't that always the case?
That's always the case. Again, we're talking to Jamie Feddersen. He is the TWRA Migratory Game Bird Program Coordinator, and I know, Jamie, that when I look at this, and I know this being the last weekend, people are wrapping up and counting birds and things along that line. I've had some folks that have had some great hunts, and I've had some folks. You look at East Arkansas, and they are just now having some great hunts. They didn't have everything was dry over there, and when you're talking about the heartland of the duck world in Stuttgart and all through East Arkansas, but we only hear from West Tennessee. I have no idea what the duck season has been about any place else in the state. And you have to keep up with all of that. I don't know how you balance that. Tell us, is your role, what do you see your role is, and how do you handle that when you're dealing with a state that's over 400 miles long, and Bristol's closer to Washington, D.C. than it is Memphis?
Yeah.
So how do you deal with that, Jamie?
Well, the nice thing is we've got a lot of good folks that work for us, throughout the whole length of Tennessee, and so I've got good relations with those folks. I call them up, ask them what's going on, and just kind of, try to stay informed with how things are. And like you said, you don't really know much about what's going on outside of West Tennessee, but I can tell you, as slow as it's been over there, you can be sure that it's been slow.
Yeah.
Eastward too.
Yes.
So
okay.
It's been slow. It's been slow for everybody, but
okay.
Yeah. So that's sort of how I do it. I've got to keep myself in contact with folks all throughout the state and just try to get some updates from them and get the pulse of what's going on out there, so that I know.
I know that our good friends in Arkansas, of course, have more money than TWRA does, and they're able to do waterfowl surveys about every 2 weeks, it seems like. It's hard to do that when you don't have the money to do it. And you also have such a different landscape when you talk about the Mississippi River or the Tennessee River or the Cumberland River or any of those different kind of things. So,
Sure.
Refuge hunts and things along that line are hard to keep up with. But this year, it seems like it's been a combination of so many different things that you've had to deal with. Mm-hmm. And whether it's the weather or whatever it might be. We got a good weekend coming up today and tomorrow. Who knows? The folks in Mississippi say the same thing. We have to cover 3 different states on this show. So from your perspective, as we wind up, you would call this year weird. I think that's the word you used.
It is. It's just weird, different.
What do you do?
Yeah, not typical for sure.
What do you stay in contact with your other buddies? I mean, the other guys in your surrounding states, and what are you hearing from them? I mean, say in Kentucky, say in some of the other areas, Missouri or other places like that. What are you hearing from them? Yeah, I mean, I kind of hear the same thing.
There's just birds didn't move like they traditionally have. Like you said, Arkansas, which should just be covered with birds,
Yes.
is maybe just now starting to pick up their birds that they would expect to get. So,
Amazing.
a lot of that has to do with the good hard cold that we're getting up north is finally forcing those birds down onto us.
And get some new birds.
Yeah, right. Yeah, we're just finally might get some new birds right for, hopefully we have a bang up end of the season. Hopefully this weekend is good and folks can get out and shoot some birds. I hope that's the case.
Well,
and end on a good note.
Yes, we need to end on a good note, and particularly in a year like this, because waterfowl, I don't think a lot of people realize how important that is. I know it is to West Tennessee, and you know that, don't you, Jamie? I mean,
absolutely.
It's an economic boom here and everything like that. So after the season, when do you guys start sitting down and looking at things like this for 2022, 22, 23? When do you start that?
Yeah, well, you mean as far as like management stuff?
Yeah.
I mean, I certainly our area managers are already thinking about what that's going to look like. We've got we've got to get through the next few weekends with our youth hunts and our military personnel hunts.
Oh, great idea. Yeah, that's
so we got to get through those, and then once that happens, there's still a little bit of time before we start pulling water off of our areas because we need to try to accommodate the birds that are still hanging around and the migrants that are coming back through. So we'll start probably we'll probably start pulling water off and then really start working on the areas in end of March into April.
Okay.
And but those area managers, they've already got plans about what they want to do moving forward. Yeah.
And I hope
it's a year-round job for sure.
Yeah, I hope, before we let you go, I hope you folks will go to tnwildlife.org. If you missed the commission meeting, listen to Dr. Brad Cohen's presentation. It was really interesting about some tagged birds that they had. 450 mallards were tagged, including 66% adults. Go to that. Jamie, thank you, man. Yeah. Appreciate all your help during the season. Stay in touch. We're here to serve if you need us. Okay, man? All right?
No worries. Hey, thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.
Okay. All right, let's take a break on Outdoors with Larry Ray and be right back.